preface this by saying that I've, M31, been regularly going to group therapy sessions for over half a year to help with anxiety and heal from past traumatic events in my life. I've since noticed my self-confidence improve massively just by being encouraged to talk openly to others, albeit in a safe space. On several occasions, whilst waiting at the bus stop to go to town, I saw this cute girl, F2. She glanced at me several times but seemed shy. I smiled at her, debate to myself about starting a convo, but the bus would always arrive soon after she did. Thought nothing of it. On another occasion, 1 week later, I'm walking through town and turn a corner. She's right there. We walk past each other, locking eyes briefly, then both walk our separate ways. On the days I stop off in town to go to therapy, I start to frequent a local coffee shop. My heart skips a beat when I notice that she's sat in the corner, on her laptop. I notice her glance up at me when I order a coffee. We lock eyes. I look away, but when I look back, she's still staring. This would routinely happen every time I went in to order a coffee. She would watch me quietly from the corner. I took this for a sign that she was somewhat interested. On one occasion, after I'd ordered my coffee, I noticed her go up to the bar straight after I was leaving. She began chatting to the barista, the bartender, catching my eye while she did so. I begin to think she could be asking her for my name, as I had exchanged a voucher card for a free drink. You get your name written on the voucher. One day, I'm in a particularly chatty mood. Going to coffee shops has been good as exposure therapy, but I feel a need to challenge myself by talking to strangers. So I greet the bartender serving me and engage in polite conversation with the person next to me in the queue. Emboldened by these positive interactions, I decide to attempt to talk to this cute girl in the corner who has noticed me by now. She's sitting next to a friend, both on laptops. I greet her friend we've talked before several times, who is happy to engage in a short conversation. I then walk over to her, but she doesn't look up from her laptop screen. I should have thought more about what I was going to say. But before I have a chance to think, I blurt out, "Hey, I think I've seen you around by the bus stop I get on at. Name's bus stop." She's sitting next to a friend, both on laptops. I greet her friend, we've talked before several times, who is happy to engage in a short conversation. I then walk over to her, but she doesn't look up from her laptop screen. I should have thought more about what I was going to say, but before I have a chance to think, I blurt out, "Hey, I think I've seen you around by the bus stop I get on at. Name's bus stop." She doesn't move, continuing to stare at her screen. I feel a rising panic in me, feel blood rushing to my cheeks, my heart starts to race. She continues to ignore me. Then an older man, M5, comes over and tells me she can't talk now, she's working. I'm really panicking now, and my fight or flight response is kicking in. I look up at him, back at her friend, back at her. Okay, I say, and grab my coffee cup and walk quickly out, looking down at my phone screen the entire time. I'm sure plenty of other people in there all saw the interaction. Awkward F. It only occurred to me afterwards the implication of what I had said. I essentially publicly doxed her, and what I chose to open the conversation with could even be seen as a little stalkerish, or generally creepy. But I stupidly thought it would be a good way to break the ice. My ears went hot, my brain clouded over, and I stammered like an idiot before I made a quick exit. Now, 1 day later, it's constantly running through my mind. I feel utterly humiliated. I'm not sure if I can bear to set foot in that coffee shop again. See this cute girl at my bus stop several times, then as a regular in this coffee shop I start to go to. I finally work up the courage to say hi, but start convo by telling her I've seen her around by my bus stop. She ignores me, stares at laptop. Older man comes over and tells me she's working. I say, okay, and awkwardly walk away. Utterly humiliating. Edit. To add some clarity. The bus stop meetings happened over a few days due to me going into town at a different time for those days. The time I met her in town, we were both coming round a corner, so it wasn't like I was crossing over the road to get close to her or anything. Oh, and there was another time when we walked past each other in city center whilst I was walking with another girl, just a friend. But I see how that could have looked. Plus, I don't think she was on a video call. I glanced briefly at her screen, and it was a Word doc open. Wouldn't she get a small pop-up window if she was a call? Also not wearing any headphones,